All right, guys, welcome back to the multiverse. And I can't help but love the blue. So I don't know if I've mentioned this on this channel. I don't think I have, but blue is my favorite color, like by far. My daughter is named Blue. I'm not kidding. I named my daughter Blue. I fucking love blue. And it's funny because actually on this map, I'm not blue. I'm green and I'm white. But my allies are fucking blue. And so there's a few things I wanted to talk about in this particular episode. One is Just Bob has become a viewer and has reached out to me a couple different times with some really thoughtful and heartfelt communications. And first of all, he was mentioning the fact that what I've been doing, see, I'm looking at this, and I've been counting those points. So, for instance, for Super Mega Maxi, I've been reading 323 there. Can you see that for victory progress? And he pointed out to me that if I go to Super Mega Maxi, if I click on the actual guy, I will see that his points are actually 116. So, Bob, thank you. You corrected me. And I was just incorrectly using the mechanics of this. That is not okay. That's not correct. And I did mention to you in our correspondence that I would investigate that, and if it was true, I would, say so on the video that, hey, I'm counting things wrong. So let me officially say I'm counting things wrong. And so I'll say, at one point I was claiming that the Eastern Coalition had 1,200, 1,300 points to our 1,000. And at the time, I'm going to correct it, we were at about 900 points. And the Eastern Coalition, had they stood together, which I don't think they ever did because some of them were holding out to join us later or something, I'm not really sure. But even if they had stayed together, they would have still been like 600 to 700 points against our 900. So we have been still higher in points the entire time. So, Bobo, this one goes to you, man. And thank you for helping me to better read what the game is trying to tell me here. So I click on something from Super Mega Maxi. I come over to here and I look at this, and that's not his points. That is his victory progress as a part of his team. And part of it, what was kind of confusing to me, is that I'm reading from several different teams. That's G5. Over here, Just Bob is not part of any coalition. So when I click over to here, that's just him by himself, right? And then when I click down to here for Eucla, that's G5. So it should be the same 323. Yeah. So thank you, Bob. I was reading those wrong. We have had an edge this entire time. Now, part of that, I have to say, Bob's sort of been appealing to this whole idea of like, hey, you guys should want a balanced war, an even war. And I'm like, dude, have you never been steamrolled? Because I've been steamrolled so many times in this game. Like so many times. Just look through my playlists. Go to another 500. Go to 500 Nation War. Like just watch me on video getting steamrolled over and over again. And he's like, hey, if you just made peace with us, you could win first and we would win second. I'm like, do you know what war is? Like, we're at war, man. Like, I don't know. Like, and a big part of this is that, there's been some back and forth attacking with Papa Smitty and so forth. And, I don't know. And by the way, if we attack too much, then we pay the penalty of morale and war weariness. So it's like, we have to be smart with that anyway, in terms of, how much we attack forward. But anyway, it's some interesting politics, and I really admire Just Bob here for reaching out and playing that political game because it's an important part of the game for sure, But I did mention to him, I'm like, well, I didn't see Bob or Eucla in any of these skirmishes up front when we were taking on dangly legs here, or for that matter, some of these some of the other fronts along here. And so in a way, I think they were playing the politics, but they weren't playing the actual ground war. sometimes when people are marching at you with a lot of guys, you got to just unify and defend and attack. Now, having said that, looking at the points, looking at the army count, we did have the advantage the whole time. So again, let me retract what I said in the previous videos, saying that they're sort of a false underdog. No, they're an underdog. They're a real underdog. So really, I'm sorry about that. I did not mean that disingenuously. You know, if you'll look at the video, I clicked on it. I kind of went over here and I was like, oh, there's their points under victory progress. But Bob did clarify that for me. He's like, no, that's actually their points in their coalition towards victory, blah, blah, blah. So that's good to know, man. Thank you. I you know, honestly, I want to report honestly here for sure. So having said that, we're continuing to attack. So Smith, most recently, you can see he's moving in with a lot of stuff. One of the things we did get recently was an intelligence report from a spy, told us that the East is watching my videos. So, hey guys, how's it going? That's one of the things, like, we know we have an advantage here by being so unified. And this is one thing I told Bob. I was like, you know, just the videos alone unify us, because, you know, everyone in the coalition can watch the video, kind of see what's going on with everyone else. If they have something to add, they can reach out to me and I'll mention it in the next video, so forth and so on. But in this particular last cycle, Smitty said, hey, would you mind sending some fighters over to the border with Euclid? So I did go ahead and send a few fighters to the border. And I love this so much. So this is my favorite use of the flower. When you use the flower with fighters, it's such a beautiful thing. And it's not even really the flower anymore, because the flower is sort of that method of move commanding through a city to different locations outside. This is more like a smattering. This is more like a scattering of units. But I love it because, so if he comes in here, he's got a lot of fighters here. He's got 37 fighters. But if he attacks any one fighter, here's what will happen. He'll kill that one fighter. But then the 15 fighters around that one fighter, who all have patrol in that region, will attack that stack. And so it's just a fun sort of thing. And it's really intimidating. Like, let's be honest. Look at that. That's just like, what? Look at all those mofos. That's just like, whoa. I love the visual of that. I really do. And I started doing that back in my Mesopotamia games, where I'd have an oil field that I really wanted to defend. And I just keep on building fighters. And then eventually I was like, well, what if I just sort of scattered them all around? And the visual is just so pleasing, because the graphic is motion, you know, like it moves. So it's just like, sort of like just a swarm. It's a swarm is what it is. That's all there is to it. And Euclid kind of reached out to me and was like, hey, you know, that's not cool. And I was like, dude, it's defensive. Those are fighters. They're not offensive units. They're defensive. Like, the only thing these fighters can do is kick your ass if you try to attack us. So it's hard to be like real, like, in my face about me being aggressive, although it totally is really aggressive. It's like, I mean, it's an intimidation move. There's no question about it. Speaking of which, I wanted to go ahead on over here because I am stoked, man. So I've pretty much built up my infrastructure here. You can see all the railways, all the factories. Oh my God. Oh my God. And there's still a bunch of factories over here. I need to go through here when I've built up some more oil. Right now, I don't have a whole lot of oil on hand here, but well, 44,000. Geez, I could do that actually. Maybe once I get off cam, I'll go through and try to comb through and find all the ridiculous level 2 and 3 factories and build them up to level 4. I think this one right here, for instance, yeah, that guy could go up immediately to a level 3. I'm going to go ahead and do that after I get off cam here. But what I was going to say is that now that I'm done with all the railroads and I've really finished up most of the aerodromes that I wanted to build, and most of these are level 4. If I click randomly on something, it's level 1. Jesus Christ. I thought it would be, oh, and I'm out of money. I did forget. Okay, so the reason I'm out of money, the whole point of bringing that whole thing up was, oh my God, my production, guys, my production. So let's just go ahead. Let's just go ahead and look at my production. So if we go to the production tab here, so I'm still building some boats here, but let's go ahead and go down until we look at the planes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 36, 36 fighters. Holy shit. And then 2 battleships. I'm building some more battleships because, you know, I've got that Navy down there that has a lot of cruisers, and I'm thinking I'm just going to build some battleships here and there. And I'm trying to build them close by, which means after we get through the Suez Canal. So there's one building over here, and I think there's one building up here somewhere because, you know, battleships are slower than cruisers. And I've still got more cruisers coming down here. I'm going to keep on building boats, but it's not my thing, you know, like it's obviously not my thing. But heck, you know, I can still make a difference over here. I have 58 of these cruisers. I have 41 subs, and then just a pathetic 3 battleships. So I'm going to keep on just feeding in battleships little by little as that moves along. So, I mean, guys, I mean, holy crap. I've got a bunch of, I'm not even going to reveal how many fighters are over here, but there's a bunch. And I'm actually sending more in because I'm an asshole. That's why. It's just, you know, I don't know. I don't want to be a bully. I really don't. And also I can say they're not offensive. They're just offensive. You know what I'm saying? They're not offensive like offense. They're just offensive like how rude. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I can be a jerk. There's no question about it. And then I've got the 36 coming from the backcountry eventually in the next couple days. I've got a few coming down over here that are sort of steadily streaming down as we go. And things are looking good. I'm happy about life. And I did say to Bob too, and one of the things I said to him was like, it really isn't fair because we're an alliance in an organized game. So number one, that means we're less likely to drop out because we're committed. We're in an alliance. We're in a community. Number two, it's being cast. It's being podcasted. So that means that we have an incentive to stay in the game. So that's another advantage to us. And then just the act of posting these videos, obviously, like, you know, I'm a very laissez-faire leader. I'm not a domineering, you know, leader. But what I do here when I cast these games is everyone in my coalition gets to kind of touch base. We all see where we're at, right? And then individually people reach out to me and they might say something to me personally, like I need some fighters over here, or can you bomb out these tanks or something like that. But also they'll say to me, hey, in the next video, would you kind of cover what's going on in the Baltic Sea or something like that, you know? So kind of keeping us together. It's something that helps to keep us unified. And I've been in enough games now. I mean, I've gotten my ass kicked in so many 500-player games. I really have, to where I know it's unity that wins, you know, and gold marking, spamming, you know, sometimes, whatever. But overall, I'm just saying in this game, it's unity that wins. The people that communicate and stay together and stay loyal and stay in the game. Fuck. If you look at some of my previous 500 games, in fact, our first 2 subscriber games were just lousy with people dropping out. And not just dropping out, but like dropping out with all their people in place. And, you know, go back to those videos if you want. I've talked about it a million times. It's like, if you want to leave the game, just fucking yeet everyone out into the ocean at the very least. And at the very best, use all of your people to attack our main enemy. But leave your homeland empty so that your friends can come in and take it over safely and bloodlessly. But anyway, that hasn't happened in this game. Why? Because this game started once we had reached that threshold of 200, I think, subscribers or so, enough to where we had a core group that was going to stick with it. And this group has stuck with it. And we've actually added a couple of people. We added Poland here, who was not originally part of our subscriber group. And we added Ecuador over here, who was not originally part of our subscriber group. And I hope that they will become part of that subscriber group. I've reached out to both of them and told them, hey, we're a YouTube community, that we're also on Discord. And I think it's a good system because on Discord, we can make communications back and forth instantaneously. And I was thinking the other day, we haven't even really explored the voice aspect of Discord. So if 2 or 3 of us are on at the same time, we can actually reach out and talk to each other in groups of 4 or even 5 or 6 or 7 on Discord and talk about strategy. So that's kind of an element that we have not quite delved into yet. Maybe once we move into our alliance games, because things are more serious at the alliance level, because that's where you start to keep track of tournaments and you have a score and you have a record as an alliance, and we'll start moving up the ranks in terms of honor to our alliance. So that's exciting stuff for the future as well. Anyway, not much more to say here. We finished up over here in South America. I contend that South Mozambique remains a threat. He is very powerful. He removed most of his stuff from Africa and moved it over to here. I don't even know what's down there, but I don't want to go down there. And I hope he is content hanging out down there. He's part of G5, which we're at war with a couple of G5 members right now. At least one, I think. Isn't Dangly Legs? I'm not sure. I thought Dangly Legs was, but certainly Bob is not. Oh, so Eucla is G5. So we are not at war with G5 right now. Okay, my mistake. Interesting. So that might be part of why G5 is not actively engaging. Is G5 at war? I think G5 is at war with Papa Smitty right now. No. He's taken territory from his ally, which I don't blame him for at all. But yeah, he's eating up the backlands of Dangly Legs, which is a good idea. Eating up those dangly legs. Anyway, so he's not at war with us, and nor is Mozambique over here. So very interesting. I will say, like, Bob mentioned that, and maybe Eucla, that they're kind of hanging back and seeing if they can join us in the late game and still get that win. And I kind of mentioned to Bob, I was like, I don't know if that's, like, part of what we're trying to do here is be at least somewhat historically accurate, role play a little bit, like try to act like your countries. It's been really cool. Papa Smitty has been acting like the Pope, and people have been pissed off about that. But I'm like, that's cool, man. Like, I love that. And of course, as France was like the first daughter of the Pope, like the first daughter of the church is what they called themselves, which is, but anyway, historically, and then we talked about having crusaders for the Pope and moving eastward in the Middle East. It's fun to role play, but this whole idea of like, yeah, we're gonna invite someone from a totally different geographical region to join with us and win the war at the very last moment, it's like, that doesn't feel historically correct or accurate. It feels like trying to game the game. It feels like trying to, hey, and this is something else that Bob said. We could end this game quickly if you would just. He actually told me, he's like, if you would quit your alliance and let me join, we could end this game quickly. And I'm like, hold on. So you're offering me for me to lose the game that I'm casting, and the reason is to end the game quickly. I'm like, do you like this game? Like, why are you playing this game if your whole purpose is to end it? Like, I'm having fun, man. And I get it. Like, as I've mentioned, I have been on the losing side. I've been steamrolled. And I'm like them. I refuse to give up. I'll play to the fucking bitter end. But I'm also not reaching out and saying, hey, you should quit the game and put me in your place, and then we could end the game quickly. It's like, I don't know. I do admire people for reaching out and trying whatever they can try. I know I've been there myself, and it's part of that social game, and you never know until you try, right? So that's something that I think I've really tried to emphasize to noobs is like, hey, first thing you should do when you get in the game, well, is tune your resources, get your resources in order. But then the second thing you should do is look around your neighborhood and reach out to the people around you. So social game is big. One of my, I've mentioned this, I think, a few times before, but one of my early mentors was War Badger. He's a guy from Ireland, and I think Northern Ireland. And we were in a game together, and for whatever reason, you know, I was kind of like, oh, hey, man, I'm in trouble. Think you could help me? For whatever reason, he took me under his wing. And it was that early social game that, you know, I wasn't an asshole, and I was respectful to him. And for whatever reason, he decided he was going to help me out. And then throughout the rest of that game, and that was a Mesopotamia game, and those things fucking last forever. He taught me a lot, you know, and he helped me a lot. He helped me out a whole lot. So, I mean, the social thing is huge. And I would always say, good for you for trying, for reaching out, trying this, that, or the other. I admire that. That's a good thing. And I also told Bob, I was like, hey, no matter what else happens at the end of this, I hope you will think about joining our community, because you're obviously a good player. You're obviously someone who's in it for the long haul. And, you know, you happen to be on the other side of this battle right now. But in the big picture, we're looking for people like you. We're looking for people who are committed to the game, who love the game, who are skilled at the game, which obviously he and Eucla are. So again, I'm recruiting out there as well. I'm like, hey, come on over to the dark side, bruh. Okay, that when I say the word bruh, it means officially that it's time for me to stop fucking casting. So I'll see you guys next time. It's been a little bit past due for me to do one of these, but you can tell the momentum is sort of leaning in our favor. We're having fun. And as I mentioned, part of what I love about the late game is seeing stuff like this. Just seeing the big stacks, seeing the swarms. You know, we got to see some fun stuff up here with Poland. Poland was moving in with some big stacks as well. Oh, and I vacated up here. My Air Force is gone from up here because Poland is kind of a beast. Poland, you know, he has so much land mass. He's just moving in. I guess maybe I shouldn't reveal. There's a stack of 1,500 with 75 mech units, and there's planes. And yeah, I probably shouldn't reveal too much of, oh my God, there was another. What? Look at that. Just in my view right now. That's obscene. All right. So I'm not going to reveal too much, although at this point, I don't think it matters. I really don't. How is Zinzin doing up here? He's kind of stretched thin. Oh, but he's still reaching for, no, he's not stretched thin. He's got, yeah. Oh my God. Sorry, man. That's not thin at all. That's like over 4,000 worth of troops stretched out over that frontier. So yeah, we have the thousands moving forward now. And really what we're kind of waiting for, and I think what maybe Bob and Eucla are trying to avoid, is bringing their forces to bear, bringing their forces and having those clashes. And, you know, Bob even mentioned, he's like, well, you could attack into North America and just win the game, and then we would be second place. And I'm like, yeah, but that's an ocean away, you know? And that's kind of, honestly, that's kind of, that's Popcat's thing, I think. Yeah, that's Popcat over there. Like, he's doing that. Like, I'm sorry, that's what Poland and Papa and Zinzin are doing. They're moving east, and that's what they're doing. So, you know, you might as well come on and have the fight, because it's happening. You know, it's going down. And, you know, every day that you delay, they're eating up more territory, which means they're gaining more influence, more power, more silver per hour, more resources per hour, and more infantry generation per hour. So soon it's going to go down. It hasn't quite gone down yet. What we've seen so far is kind of a steamrolling effect, you know, as we sort of roll over these sort of Western troops. But at some point, we are going to come up against the main body of that army. And when that happens, it's going to be glorious. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'll be honest. These big clashes are fun to watch. Again, weirdly, one of my most popular videos is my 500 Nation Army 8, which is one of the last ones in that particular playlist. And I think it's popular because you just see these massive armies just thousands upon thousands of infantry. And by the way, when you have 1,000 infantry, it's actually 1,000,000. So we're talking 1,000,000. If you see 1,000 infantry, that's 1,000,000 men, right? So now we're talking, you know, when we said 4,000 men up here, we meant 4,000,000, right? It's just a lot of shit kind of getting thrown around. All right, I better go. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for checking in. Adios, mi amigos.